Welcome back to another episode of Stacking Dennys. I'm Jordan McAbee of RotoBaller. My co-host Nick Giffen at the Action Network. Corey Heim takes the Brickyard 400 race in a very disappointing fashion. A lot of people disappointed with the overall Brickyard race, as expected. I mean, the racing there for years with this next-gen car, or since we've gone back to the Oval, hasn't been great, but it was on full display 2 weeks ago. We took a week off there. But Corey Heim for 23XI Racing gets his second win of the year, which is incredibly impressive on his part-time schedule. Him and Carson Hocevar had some more beef. Hocevar started on the pole in that race, ended up finishing ninth. Good day for him. But it was Corey Heim in victory lane. Christopher Bell with another second-place finish this year. Joey Logano ends up third. Chase Briscoe fourth. Denny Hamlin fifth. Denny Hamlin was the heavy favorite going into that race. He was never like... He never got up. He led 14 laps, but I feel like during the race, he never quite got the track position to truly be a contender. But Ty Gibbs was very fast in this race. He fell back to 12th by the end of it. He won stage one. He led 46 laps right behind Corey Heim's 58 laps led with most for the day. And then Todd Gilliland, our boy Gilly, the in-season challenge winner. After Ryan Blaney got caught up in that wreck with John Hunter Nemechek. And then, on the restart, nobody can pass. Nobody can pass when there's any racing. And Gilly ends up 24th. Blaney ends up 26th. Nick, was this race as bad as everybody says it was?
Yes. And I'm surprised it wasn't even lower on Jeff Gluck's poll. I thought it should have been. I thought it was terrible. There wasn't anything good about that race. No, outside of Gilly winning, the in-season tournament challenge, there was nothing good about that race. Had no redeeming qualities. It was just a bad race. I don't know what else to say. And not only was it a bad race, but once you realize you just can't pass, how is any crew chief in the world giving up track position?
Ryan Preece is crew chief. What the fuck was that? He could have won that race.
William Byron's crew chief. I mean, they and Briscoe's they just pitted for no reason under caution and were the only two to pit and went all the way back to the back of the field and never got back up to the front again because they're idiots. And then Byron's team made it even worse by short pitting again. At least Briscoe made it up front, but Briscoe and Byron had the exact same strategy to start with. They both pitted under that first stage caution. Briscoe finished fourth. Byron finished 27th because of more bad decisions by Rudy Fugle. Rudy Fugle has been horrible this year. And you remember that argument they had a couple weeks ago at whatever other race it was? Rudy Fugle is worse than Alan Gustafson right now. Just in terms of recency and calls, Alan Gustafson has had a good year. Rudy Fugle has had an awful year. So yeah, just really bad crew chiefing when you cannot pass. But to your point, the whole race, you couldn't pass. You just could not pass. And clean air was king. Corey Heim was so loose in that last segment. Still, I mean, we say Christopher Bell chokes or whatever, but there's no choking if you just can't pass. I mean,
no,
there's nothing he did wrong, Christopher Bell. You cannot pass. There was no passes for the lead outside of a restart. There was no passes for the lead outside of a pit cycle. It's literally impossible to pass it now. So yeah, just really bad racing.
There was no passes, not even for the lead, but just in the pack. After 2 laps on restart, that was it. Nobody could do anything. I mean, we saw after Blaney's wreck, he was still faster than Gilly. Gilly had a shit car. Mm-hmm. And he could not even get past Allmendinger, who was behind Gilly. So, my biggest thing, I'm fully aware that this was a shit race. I'm not surprised. I'm very confused why people are surprised that this was such a bad race. We've seen this has been the case for this next gen car. Why are the hate is fully determined, but how much Twitter was blowing up after this race with how bad it was. I'm like, what did you expect?
Well, I guess because last year's race was a little better, right? And maybe probably with a feel-good story of Bubba and all that stuff. But I mean, I agree with you. There's a reason we left this track completely for a while because the racing at the track itself with a stock car just isn't that great. Add in the next gen car, and it's terrible. This track is amazing for IndyCar. The Indy 500 is an unbelievable show. We saw the most crazy finish of all time this year in the Indy 500, most lead changes. I mean, some unbelievable racing in the Indy 500. Those are Indy cars, and these stock cars just don't put on good shows at the Brickyard. Every once in a while, you might get a good Brickyard 400. I think we got one last year, sort of. But by and large, stock car racing at the Brickyard has not been good. And I think we all should have expected it not to be good, especially in the next gen car.
Yeah. And like you said, or as we touched on before, William Byron, Rudy Fugle with some stupid calls, but Derek Finley for Ryan Preece. I feel like we've talked about him before. I know we've talked about the RFK crew chiefs in general before, but that was just when you're on the bubble for the points and getting into the chase and you make that call. If I'm Brad Keselowski, you're fired the next day. That was inexcusable.
He would have probably restarted at worst third, right? And then instead he restarts whatever it was, 8th, 10th, and finishes right there. Gains zero position on 4 fresh tires when he didn't need 4 fresh tires. He needed 2 and just barely fill up the tank, and you come out probably right behind Corey Heim, or at worst right behind Heim and Denny Hamlin.
Right. Because he needed less fuel than Corey Heim. He was in an even better position than Heim. Yeah,
but he was behind on track position, so it's probably pretty even between the two of them.
Right, because I think Heim was 3rd and Preece was 4th or 5th. Yeah, just an all-time stupid.
And that's what I'm saying. Like his worst case scenario with 2 tires and fuel is probably 3rd place coming out of the pits, right? Like his worst case scenario. Instead, they go 4 tires. They come out 8th or whatever it is. I don't remember the exact number they came out, but finished 8th as well. 4 tires did nothing. Look at Ty Gibbs. I mean, not that he had a choice. He had to fill up, so you may as well, if you're going to fill up, take 4 tires. Did nothing for him and that's not a failure on the strategy call there. Like he had to take 4 tires and fuel because they chose a different strategy earlier in the race where they were going to just end up having to be in that spot. And it's just one of those things where neither driver on 4 tires made up any track position whatsoever. And even further, right? Like you said, the Blaney, the Gilliland thing. Gilliland's car was terrible, but there was no way AJ Allmendinger could even pass him, let alone Ryan Blaney. So it's just one of the worst races I've ever seen. Honestly, I thought it was generous that it had 20 whatever % yes in the Gluck poll.
Yeah, and good thing for Gilly is he has a decently smart crew chief, that kept him out there for finish 2nd in the stage and then get some better track position because he was like probably a 32nd place car, I would guess. That car was not good at all. And another guy that didn't have a good car is actually last year's winner, Bubba Wallace. He got in trouble immediately off the bat in practice, did not recover all weekend. I think, you picking him 36 for 36 had something to do with jinxing him.
I know.
But yeah, just not a good weekend there for Bubba. But no, just an awful race. And there's a lot of people, now, of course, we need change. And they're saying, we need to go back to the Indy road course. You can't pass in this car on fucking road courses either. Like it's not going to be that much better. So unless you're SVG at Watkins Glen, he's about the exception, but nobody else can pass. So I'm still baffled that people are surprised that Indy was bad, but I am glad. I think it's kind of cool that Corey Heim got another win and was able to.
I think it was first time since 1987 that a part-time driver won multiple races in the same season.
Really? Wow.
Yep. First time since 1987. That's almost 40 years since the last time a part-time driver won multiple races in a season.
And, it obviously gets people excited for what he's going to do next year when he's full-time in the Cup Series, which, by the way, I think I saw a news article. I've been so checked out lately, so forgive me if I'm off on any of this, but I think he's changing numbers next year from 67 to I don't know what.
35.
30, he's going to the 35.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't either. Like, it makes no sense. You got the 2, 3, the 4, 5. Just keep the 6, 7.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the meme, the 6-7 meme, it still makes sense with the brand.
Plus, you already have 2 wins in the 67. Like, just keep it. Like, It's not like he has ties to the 35. You know, like it's not like he ran the 35 in the trucks or
35 is such a random number. Like, where does that come from? It's not even a number Michael Jordan wore.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
I don't know. Let's see here. I don't really have much else from Indy. That was just such an awful race, but I'm very glad.
I got a lot from Indy. Well, not a lot, but
we hit Gilly 45-1 to win the in-season championship.
We both did. We made it right here on Stacking Dennys a few weeks ago. I think it was after Sonoma or after Chicago? Was it after the first or the second round? I think it was after the second round.
Yeah, I forget.
But
I know we basically like looked at it and was like, here's how this path could happen for Gilly to make it
and then it did
win it. And then it did.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, in addition to hitting Gilly, obviously I had Heim top Toyota, but I also took down the Minimax in DFS.
Yeah, I forgot.
And if I had put it in the big GPP, I would have won the 50K. I did all 150 lineups in the Minimax, and if I had just done the 150 lineups in the big GPP instead, I would have taken down the 50K with a solo lineup. I didn't look to see if my lineup was the optimal or just the best one from what would have been in the 50K, but I might have actually hit the optimal lineup. And I'm just so mad because obviously I guess if you all have been following me, I've been dealing with stuff with my dog. He actually has surgery on Wednesday. So I've been dealing with a lot of stuff with that. And I don't know, 2 hours before the race, I was like, all right, I'm just going to throw in 150 in the Minimax because I didn't want to not have a sweat, but I also didn't want to risk 3K on something I barely researched because I'd been so busy all week, right? So leading up to the Brickyard 400. So I should have just thrown it all into the damn big GPP and I would have taken it down. Because like the 5 weeks before, I maxed the big GPP. And this time I didn't just because so busy.
Isn't it always so frustrating when like you have the lineup to win it? Like it's happened to me, I think over the last few years. It's like it's like
could have used those 50K for all the surgery and vet bills and stuff. Good grief.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'll take it. It's a nice profitable day in DFS, so is what it is. But I wish I'd thrown in the big GPP. But at least on the betting side of it, and that's again, we talk about this all the time. We don't let our betting influences or betting results or DFS results influence what we think of the race. We both thought it was a dog shit race, even though we both had really profitable days in terms of the Gilly result, and then me also with some of the other bets.
I was gonna say
DFS.
I didn't bet. I didn't bet.
Yeah, I don't think you bet a thing, other than the Gilly carryover.
I think I had Bubba early week like 20-1, but that's about it.
Yeah, but just another data point of us separating the race from our results because that was a bad race.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, guy who ended up in my optimal lineup, Josh Berry, finished 7th.
Yeah, I think I read that's the best ever finish in the Brickyard for the Wood Brothers.
Really? Wow. I
believe I read that. Yeah.
It's crazy to me he wasn't higher owned. He was like 3.5% or some bullshit like that. I could not believe it. I mean, when you're a driver, I don't care who you are, at a track position track, and you're starting 26th, you got to have more than like 3.5% exposure to him. And I think I had like 25 or 30%.
And that's the fun part about this part of the season, because guys like Josh Berry and Connor Zilish are so not trusted by DFS players that the weeks like that are the ones where they're not owned at all, but there's no reason for them not to be. But yeah, that was the best ever finish for Wood Brothers Racing in the Brickyard, with Josh Berry finishing 7th. The previous best were 10th place results by Morgan Shepherd in 1994, 1995, and Paul Menard in 2018 and 2019.
Paul Menard, also a winner of the Brickyard 400 in 2011. That was with RCR, of course, but I love it. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to sign into my model here. Just give me a moment, because I'm trying to see what I had Josh Berry as optimal. Because I mean, it's crazy that he was like 3%. I'm going to pull up what percent owned he was too, because somewhere I have the optimal lineup from a couple weeks ago stored in my photos. Where is it? Oh, it's in Action Network Discord, actually. I know that for a fact. Let me look. What was your lineup? It was. Thought I posted it. Did I not post my lineup? I did. Yeah, Josh Berry, 3.5% owned, started 26th at a place differential track, right? Because there's only 160 laps. We get a lot of strategy, so we don't really get a ton of dominators at Indy. I had Josh Berry 7% projected ownership and 15% perfect. So I went the extra leverage, right? So if you go 7 to 15, that's 8 percentage point, add another 8 percentage points. And, my exposure to him was pretty high. It was, let me go over the Action Network Discord again. I think I had my exposures in there. I don't know. I don't know what my exposure was, but it was above 20%, but I think south of 30%. So right in that range. Here it is. Josh Berry. Oh no, that's the week before where I went 100% Christopher Bell and got owned. Yeah. Do I have my exposures from that? I don't think I have. Oh, here it is. No, I still cut it off. So I don't know what my overall exposure was to Josh Berry, but it was somewhere in the 20 to 30% neighborhood. And like I said, I wanted to get leverage because, I had him 15% and I had him projected at 7. If I had him projected at 3.5%, I probably would have gone 35% or 40% on Josh Berry.
Right. Yeah. No, but like we keep talking about the week that Zilish, hits, it's the same type of just mindset by other DFS players. They don't, it's all, what have you done for me and not what's the actual upside here when the time arises.
Exactly. Yeah. And my ceiling on him was 47 points. So 15% of the time he finishes more than 47 points and he got 56.25. So he definitely hit his he punched above his ceiling. He punched above that 15%. And it's actually funny because, like I said, my perfect percent for him was 15%. And the ceiling is, so like, basically he needed to hit 47 or more to end up in the optimal lineup. And he more than cleared that. He hit a 56, like I said. And Denny Hamlin was in that lineup and he only got 47 points. So it makes sense, right?
Yep. It's a similar, when we look at super speedway racing and scoring there, a guy starting like Josh Berry does 26th, even finishing like 11th scores more than someone, that starts up front and finishes top 5. So
yeah,
just math stuff when it comes to scoring DFS. It doesn't make sense to, like, if you're just thinking about it narrowly and straight on, you're like, what the heck? I want the guy that finishes 5th, not the guy that finishes 10th. But in DFS, you have to take a lot more into account.
Exactly. And like I said, I knew based off my projections, my dominator projections, right? I had Hosvar dominating a bit because he started on pole. I had Gibbs dominating. I had Denny Hamlin dominating, in terms of like the main dominators, and Larson. But none of them I had projected for more than an average of 10. Sure, an average of 10 means a lot of times 0, and then sometimes 50 or 40 dominator points or whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, like, 10 dominator points is just 5 spots on the track, right? You gain 5 for place differential and 5 extra for finishing position. So that's just passing 5 cars is 10 dominator points. So it was a place differential race. Whereas, this weekend at IO, we'll talk about that. Like, if you're playing DFS, this is not a place differential weekend race. Cars are going to go lap down a lot quicker. There's going to be more dominator points available and more likely to dominate for a clustered set of drivers, right? So this isn't going to be as much of a place differential race. And I knew Indy was, so I took advantage of place differential, which is how I got so much exposure to Josh Berry. Again, just 15% optimal. And if I knew it was going to be 3.5% owned, like I said, I probably would have gone above 30% on him.
That is so low, man. Because
3.5% in a place differential track.
Yeah, Cindric was back there too, and they're basically the same team, and Cindric obviously started 9 spots further back, but like, it's similar upside.
Mind-boggling. Just I couldn't believe when I saw he was 3.5 that he was 3.5.
Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah. So yeah, still some edges in DFS.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else from the Indy race specifically before we get to the updated points and how this Indy race shook those up?
You know, I guess I'm just thinking about like when we looked at practice, right? It was like it was Toyota and Chevy dominant, right? And the Fords looked not so good. But then when you look at the actual race results, right? I mean, Toyota,
One
Ford,
Chevy in the top 12.
Ford, Chevy. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I think Larson would have been up there because Larson had the flat tire, no fault of his own why he wrecked. But like, Cole Custer was the second Chevy. Custer finished the second Chevy.
Here's a stat for Here's a stat for you. 9 of the final 11 finishers in the race were Chevrolets.
That's insane.
Now, mind you, there's Cody Ware down there, there's Ty Dillon, there's Casey Mears, but you get it. Like, a lot of Chevys in the back of the pack this week. And then, kind of this is a good Chevy segue here. So David Rochester on Twitter, I retweeted his tweet. He said, last season entering Iowa, Hendrick held the top three spots in the point standings with Elliott, Byron, Larson. This year, same 3 drivers are now 6th, 12th, and 8th.
Yep.
Which is just like, obviously we talk about the Hendrick fall off a lot, but Hocevar with his pole run, his stage points, he jumps up to 5th in points ahead of Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson. Larson falls down to 8th in points. Logano had a huge race, ended up finishing 3rd with that strategy call. We talked about the summer of Logano. He's now up to 13th in points. But again, Hocevar in top 5 in points is, I understand that Tyler Reddick was the story of the season early on. The story of the season to me this season is Carson Hocevar. 5th in points is insane.
I would say, Hocevar and Suarez, right?
And Gibbs.
11th for Suarez is insane.
And Gibbs.
And definitely Gibbs. Definitely.
3 huge stories. Because Gibbs, I mean, he could have won the Brickyard 400. He's had race-winning speed several times this year. Gibbs
was awesome. He just obviously wasn't on the right strategy, but that's just the nature of the game. Sometimes it's the right strategy. Sometimes it's the wrong strategy. It just depends when the caution's out. But either way you slice it, the Ryan Preece and the William Byron stuff was never going to be the right strategy because that had nothing to do with timings of cautions and stuff. Those were just horrible crew chiefing calls. But yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I think it's Gibbs, Hocevar, and Suarez are the 3 big stories of the point season. And, you can kind of throw in SVG just because of how he's held his own on ovals. And he's even just on ovals, he's outperforming Ross Chastain.
And you read my mind there because I was just about to throw in SVG as well, just because, I mean, we have another short flat track coming up here, and I fully expect him to finish top 15, if not top 10 this week based on pure speed. But what's interesting is, so we have four drivers that are big surprises this year. As you said, Carson Hocevar, Daniel Suarez, SVG, Ty Gibbs. We talk about how not dog shit, but how Chevy has taken such a step back. What's funny is that these guys are all Chevys.
Yep.
And they've taken the step forward.
But they're taking the step forward in the Chevy gang is the reason they're taking the step forward, right?
But like Hocevar still ahead of Briscoe, Busher, Christopher Bell. Like,
no, those are good points.
So it's interesting what Spire, I think this is Spire, and then I think part of it, it's mainly Spire and the gains that they've made, but then Trackhouse giving and SVG overall his improvement just as a
it's definitely twofold, I would say, with SVG, both more focus as arguably the best car equipment from Trackhouse, but also just improvement as a driver. Because I mean, again, he's still only in season number 3 or something of running ovals full time, and right, like that's how many seasons it took Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, to get up to speed in these cars. So when they were rookies, and I'm not even saying necessarily the next gen, I just mean at the cup level. So I completely, think it's a twofold thing there where, Trackhouse, I think, has actually gotten worse, but SVG went up the pecking order on the equipment lists, and he's improved. So it kind of makes up for the Trackhouse decline. Spire has been awesome. And, is it the whole stealing the JGR secret stuff?
You have to make that case for it as the season progresses, but it's so funny to me that we sit here and we say how much Chevy's struggling, but the biggest surprises this year are Chevys, and then Trackhouse is really struggling, but one of the biggest surprises this year is a Trackhouse car. Like, it's just also
wasn't it funny qualifying, right? Qualifying was so funny. It was like the JGR pipeline was 1 through 7, even though it was 3 Chevys and 4 Toyotas. Yeah. It was the JGR pipeline 1 through 7 at Indy in qualifying.
I think I saw a tweet of someone comparing the races where Denny Hamlin struggled last year, and then it's basically like completely linear with the races that hosts of our struggles this year.
Which is so funny because it could just be pure chance, but it also is still pretty neat that it lines up kind of. But to your point on these standings, I love looking at stage points, right? I always look at that stuff. Host of our 7th in stage points. So like, if I were to say stage points are kind of the overriding factor in how good your season has been, even though you're 5th, because finishing is so variable. You wreck out, something bad happens, but like even 7th for Hocevar is like amazing. Because I think a lot of us, when we did preseason rankings, had him like 13 to 18, right? Which would have still been a great year for him. It would have been an improvement, but I mean, he's legitimately a top 8 car on the season as a whole.
Mm-hmm. No, and I feel like we keep, waiting for the week that he proves us wrong, and it's not happening. And we're 4 races away from the playoffs. We're 22 races into the season. This isn't a small sample size by any means.
Exactly.
These points standings are what they are, and they're a very accurate representation of how the season is going.
Completely agree.
But got a comment here. Gibbs only 50 points back from second in points. I mean, it's. And the way Tyler Reddick ebbs and flows, and Blaney's not. This is a good set of tracks coming up for Blaney, so I think it's going to be tough for him to pass Blaney. But but
the gap to Blaney's only 15, right? So
exactly, that takes one wreck at Brickyard. Like one blown tire, like
Daytona.
All it takes, it's.
I mean, Ty Gibbs has had an amazing season. And he's definitely a championship contender. I know, obviously, Denny Hamlin's going to have a 25. If we assume Denny Hamlin wins a regular season championship, let's assume that he'll have a 25-point lead over whoever's second, a 35-point lead over whoever's third, and a 40-point lead over whoever's fourth. But 40 points in 10 races isn't insurmountable by any means. And, Ty Gibbs is almost certainly, he's 113 points ahead of fifth. So I'd say almost guaranteed to be at worst within 40 points striking distance of Denny Hamlin when we go to playoff time.
Mm-hmm. No, and like we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, Ty Gibbs, I think he's a legitimate championship contender. I saw Jason, I don't know what his last name is, but he's a well-known bettor of NASCAR on Twitter. He just placed bets on Gibbs to win the championship, I think at 18-1. I got a comment here. And any interest in you guys joining the championship ticket? I think it's 18-1. I
got my Hamlin ticket. That's all. I'm done for the season on championship bets. I got my Hamlin plus 450. After the FanDuel SVG debacle, I'm set, man. I'm feeling fucking good about that. I don't need a hedge or anything unless we get down the last race or two, and I'm worried about it.
I'll say this. I am not a championship bettor. I just don't like doing it. I've maybe made like outside of like the years when Sportsbooks would let us parlay
God
with championship, I take advantage of those situations, but like as far as like just full on championship bets, I do not make them. I'm getting very close to myself making a Ty Gibbs championship bet. I will say that I have not, but I'm getting close. And
it makes a lot more sense if you don't have the Hamlin position.
Yeah, exactly. There's also something like in my soul though that man, if Ty Gibbs wins this championship, like, oh, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. But then again, like, to me, my mindset is also, I'm still struggling and not betting. This is like an addiction, Nick. Like, I see Christopher Bell out there. I think he's like 10-1 to win the championship. And I'm like, why am I not betting Christopher Bell? And it's like an addiction to bet on Christopher Bell, but I haven't done that yet.
I wouldn't bet Bell at all just because of it being a 10-race chase. Whereas if it was a three round championship, I would get on Bell at 10-1 in a heartbeat because the races are so good for him, but it's going to be next to impossible to make up 70 points on Denny Hamlin.
So many chances for him to piss down his leg. So so you got a comment here. I'm sitting on a 50-1 Ty Gibbs championship. Yeah, that's great. I mean, if you're sitting on that, hell yeah.
You gotta be feeling absolutely incredible about that.
Yeah. And like my personal recommendation is to not cash out. You know, like I was kind of tempted with the Gilly ticket to cash out at Brickyard, but then I held strong.
I was definitely tempted to not cash out, but to hedge, find a hedge option and do it. Just let it ride.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I had a ton on it because I can only get down so much at Bet365, but and then I didn't bet on any of the other books. I just did it while we were on Stacking Dennys. I put whatever I could get down on them at 365, and by then all the lines had moved anyway. Once because you and I basically moved the Gilly lines. But I wouldn't cash out until you at least get partway through the playoffs and see where things stand. But even then, you probably have to, if he's getting close, you almost just want to ride it out at that point.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great ticket to be holding. I wish I had one as well. But yeah, I mean, and the fact that he's still sitting there at 18-1, I think if anybody's looking to bet a championship guy right now, that's the one to make. It's Ty Gibbs.
Yep. But I mean, how heavily favored has Denny Hamlin got to be? He is 84 points clear of Tyler Reddick, the guy who won 5 races out of the first 9 or whatever it was. He's 84 points clear of him. And he's 120 points clear of Ryan Blaney in third. I mean, and the playoffs track set up great for Denny Hamlin. I mean, we're talking about Gibbs. We're talking about Gibbs making up 50 points on Reddick in 4 races as kind of a long shot. He would probably need to make up 40 points, not 50, so 40, closer, and have more races, 10, to do it on Denny Hamlin. So it's definitely a realistic possibility for Ty Gibbs at 18-1. But I mean, Denny Hamlin, I legitimately would consider betting him at even money to win the championship right now.
And one thing that does not help Ty Gibbs is that there's no road course in the chase. If there was, I would like it a lot more. But like you said, there's no weak spot for Denny Hamlin right now. And honestly, the same could kind of be said for Ty Gibbs, just the way he's running this year. Talladega, but
Bristol's great for him. I think at most of the other tracks, he's a relative wash with Denny Hamlin outside of maybe the 1.5 miles where Denny certainly has an advantage. I would say the classic 1.5 miles, Kansas, Vegas, that kind of stuff, Homestead. But maybe Martinsville as well. I think Denny would probably have an advantage of Martinsville, but I don't think it's as strong as we think it is because Denny hasn't been like Mr. Dominant Martinsville in the next gen, even though I think he has a win. But like Bristol, Gateway, like I think Ty Gibbs might be better than Denny Hamlin at Gateway. I think Gateway's kind of been a struggle track for Hamlin in the next gen car, if I remember correctly. I'm going off memory. Let me pull it up. Where's Gateway? Oh, he won Gateway last year and led the most laps. So maybe I should shut the fuck up. It was the first couple years of Gateway that I think he struggled, but clearly he's figured it out. So, first couple years of Gateway he struggled. It was 2022. He finished 34th. Then he finished second, and first. So I'm just gonna purge my memory of that.
So
nope. Okay. So yeah, pretty much. I like Denny Hamlin's plus 170 at FanDuel right now to win the title. honestly, I think that's value. I'm not betting it, of course, because I already have a position. And if I didn't have a position, I probably wouldn't be betting it because I think it's kind of insane. But I still think he's probably better than 40% to win the championship. Like, I think he's a coin flip to win the championship.
It's going to take, so there are spots where Ty Gibbs has a somewhat of an advantage or could potentially have an advantage over Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
Darlington earlier this year, Ty Gibbs was better than Denny Hamlin despite Gibbs starting 28th. He rallied up to 6th. He had a better car than Hamlin. Hamlin finished 11th. Yeah. Bristol, obviously, Gibbs won this year. That's a track also that you can easily have an issue very quickly with, and your day is ruined. Talladega, we know how Denny is. Talladega's Talladega, and Denny has not been good in this car on Super Speedway. So there's 3 races there. Phoenix also, Gibbs has been great at Phoenix as well, but as has Hamlin. But races.
Hamlin absolutely destroyed Phoenix last year and just got completely screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I say Denny hasn't been dominator man at Martinsville, obviously he has that win, but he also just dominated Martinsville earlier this year. So, I completely agree with you, but Gibbs is still going to start 40 points back.
Yeah, it's going to take, it's going to be, to me, it's a very similar to Gilly winning the in-season challenge. You see how it can happen. You're like, here's the path that it could happen. Everything needs to go right. There cannot be one misstep this entire way. And
I shouldn't say he's going to start 40 points back. It could be 35 or 25, but I think the most likely outcome is probably 80, 75%, let's say 40 points back of Denny.
But yeah, but comparatively speaking, where we're going Hamlin versus Gibbs, and they're not even, but there isn't a huge gap there, and one sitting at plus 170 and one sitting at 18. Yeah, you bet the 18-1 and you hope the plus 170 has a little issues or a few issues.
Absolutely. Oh, completely agree. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're looking at the odds board, I don't mind Denny Hamlin, honestly, at plus 170, but I also certainly don't mind Ty Gibbs at 18 if you've got that. But I can't bet on a Reddick at plus 380. I can't bet on a Blaney at plus 650. These tracks, Denny's just been so much better this year than both of them, by the way. And the track set up better for Denny than they set up for Blaney and Reddick. And we've already litigated these in previous episodes of this podcast where it's like, it's not really close with Blaney because of the 3.5 miles that are back to back, and Penske struggled at those. But also just with, we don't need to relitigate Reddick either, right? Like Gateway, Martinsville, like some of those tracks just are not Reddick tracks and favor Denny. Even Bristol, right? Reddick has not been what we expect him to be at Bristol in the next gen car or in his Cup career, period. So that means I would think Gibbs at 15, 18, like that's the only other guy I could completely consider right now.
So, and that's the big question. Like I said, we're 4 weeks away from the chase starting. And the biggest question mark, in my opinion, one of them, I would say it's the biggest, is can Toyota keep up this domination? Because they've been the manufacturer all year. And will it continue through the chase? Because like we sit here and we say, so far it's Hamlin, Gibbs, Reddick, and me personally, if I'm going to fade anyone in the chase, it's going to be Tyler Reddick. One, I don't think Gibbs is going to give them 100% information like they've had this year. And 2, it's Tyler Reddick and just the way he does this. I can see a path where he finishes 8th in points.
Here's the thing. We know Tyler Reddick started off so hot, but 2 of those were drafting tracks.
Yep.
One of them was a road course, which there are none in the playoffs. And, he wasn't like the most dominant car at Darlington or Kansas. He was obviously very, very good at both. But also, we can't judge him on the last 8 races where he's at an absolutely shit stretch.
Right.
Because he's been fast at most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. So the true outcome is probably somewhere in between. And, well, when you take the hot start and the cold finish, he's probably just a 2nd or 3rd or 4th place car on the balance of the season. And that's probably where he'll finish once all is said and done. But he does have a wide range of outcomes. But I think there's more downside just because of the tracks that are in the playoffs for him.
Yeah. And maybe that's where I'll bet some championship things is if there's a head to head of Reddick and the other guys plus money, I'd bet the other side.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, especially if it's someone like a Chase Briscoe or a Christopher Bell. Like, I don't trust Tyler Reddick, and that's not to say that I trust Christopher Bell at all. Like, you guys know my opinion on Bell, but I believe Tyler Reddick's success this year is heavily inflated. And
Bell has finished second place in 50% of the last 10 races.
Just insane.
And some of those he's been really, really good. Like when Chase Elliott wrecked him out at Michigan, going for second place.
He had the best car at Charlotte this year and he got wrecked out.
Yeah.
Or no, he still finished second. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, there's so much stuff where the crazy thing
Texas.
is North Wilkesboro, he was dog shit, which should have been one of his best tracks.
Yeah.
But like, the 3 races that were bad for him in this 10 race stretch, 4 races. One was Pocono, where he was flying through the field and then clipped the wall, and the start of stage 2 ruined his day
with a broken wrist, fresh off a broken wrist, by the way.
And broke his wrist at Michigan, where he was running second when he got wrecked.
Yep.
He came out of you can't even count Coronado San Diego because he had a broken wrist and got replaced by Brent Cruz. Like, you can't even count that. And then whatever the fuck happened at North Wilkesboro happened. Obviously, it was a horrible day for them. But outside of that, 8 of the 9 races you can really count, because you can't count Coronado. He's probably been a top 2 or 3 car.
Yeah.
Maybe not Sonoma. Maybe we say he's 5th at Sonoma and a top 2 or 3 car everywhere else.
But 5th at Sonoma with his broken wrist was crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Plus,
he started 14.
A lot of people were fading there, because that was the start of the in-season challenge. And I think a lot of us picked Ross over him.
Mm-hmm. I remember one of my biggest bets that week was Suarez over Bell, and that wasn't even close.
Yeah, I didn't have that, but
Christopher Bell.
But yeah, so I mean, I agree. I think there's a lot made out of finishing position, and it's always so funny. Like, I love Ryan of iFantasy Race, but I always laugh at his tweets of like, all this except for this. The guy finished between 16th and to 22nd. I'm like, yeah, but that's finishing position. I don't give a shit about that. Like, because unless that's how you ran, it's so different. And that's not a criticism. I think all that information is valuable and really good. It's just like, okay, what if you did that with Reddick? Like, well, 8 out of the first 9 races he won, and then 8 out of the last 9 races he finished 36th or worse. Like, what do you believe, right? So, like, we definitely need to stop doing things based off finishing position. And I think obviously most of us have, and that's why we're so successful at what we do. But at the same time, we still talk about finishing position all the time.
And I think part of it is just because it's such an easy stat to grab. That's always been the case for me. Like, I will go into more depth, but like, if I'm just doing like a quick, like, hey, like, it's so much easier. That's what it is. It's simple to do stuff like that. And it's very easily consumed, because nobody cares if the car is actually a 5th place car, but he finished 8th. Like, nobody gives a shit.
I was going to say there's a very small subset of people who care about my flags data in terms of like, oh yeah, he finished 14th, but he was really 5th in flags. There's maybe like a handful of people who listen to this podcast and listen to Running Hot and subscribe to our different things. There's certainly a very niche subset that care about flags, but say finishing position,
right?
It's so much more broad.
But the funny thing is, though, is like, I'm gonna say that's part of the reason why people are not successful at betting NASCAR, is because they do just focus on finishing position. Whereas if they actually dig deeper and look into the deeper stats of actual speed, they'd have more. Like, that's where you find your edges is digging deeper into that stuff.
And not just raw speed, but adjusted speed, right? Like, if you're stuck in traffic, or if you're on a different tire or fuel strategy, like, that stuff matters and can influence. If you look at something like green flag speed, for example, well, yeah, great, he was 5th in green flag speed, but he only ran the first stint on new tires and then wrecked out of the race. So he wasn't really a 5th place car.
Yeah. Getting back here to the point standings. So Joey Logano, like we've talked about the summer of Logano, he's up to 13th in points.
Crazy.
We talked about it before North Wilkesboro. We said this is the time where it's put up or shut up for Logano. If he's going to make the playoffs, going to make the chase, this is how he's going to do it. Has not missed anything. Third at Indy, the dominating win at North Wilkesboro. That team is in a great position right now heading into Iowa this weekend. Bubba Wallace falls a spot down to 14th. He's still, though, 60 points above Ryan Preece in 17th. SVG falls a spot to 15th. He's still 57 points ahead of Ryan Preece. So they're both sitting decently well above the 17th place guy in points. There's a 38-point gap between Austin Cindric in 16th and Ryan Preece in 17th. And that's going to be one to keep an eye on. But again, we talked about Team Penske and these upcoming set of races. Sets up very well for them. Sets up well. I will note, though, that RFK was really good at Iowa last year.
Mm-hmm.
All of them were. If they can replicate that, now, obviously, they've had some issues here lately. If they can replicate that, though, this could get very interesting.
We know how good Preece is at short flats in general, right? We got Richmond, New Hampshire, and then there's a drafting track. Like, Ryan Preece is definitely not out of this. And even Brad Keselowski is not out of this.
Are you so would you put those two above Eric Jones?
Yes.
Because Eric Jones is right in there as well.
I absolutely would, because of the 3 tracks coming up ahead of Daytona. I favor Preece and Keselowski over Jones at these tracks.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. Remember, Ryan Preece, 25-point deduction earlier this year.
Yep.
He would only be 13 behind Austin Cindric without that.
That's going to be a big.
Can we give a shout out to Austin Cindric? I know we don't want to talk about finishing position, but I'm going to talk about finishing position. 11th to 14th in finishing position in 7 of the last 8 races. There's your Ryan iFantasy race stat right there.
Yeah.
It's doing what you need to do at this time of year. It doesn't mean you're running great. It just means you're doing what you need to do to get into the playoffs.
Yep. And that's exactly, it's not making mistakes. And that's how you're going to do it. You're going to do exactly what Penske's doing right now with Logano and then Cindric as well. Yep. So they're both in the chase so far. We got 4 races to go. Anything else from these point standings before we dig into Iowa here?
Man. Remember when we gave our bottom 5?
Yeah, and I exited out of it, and I don't know where I kept the what our bottom 5 predictions were. I know
Old Custer is out of the bottom 5.
I know. He jumps up 2 spots to 30th. Ty Dillon is now Ty Dillon is in what am I trying? I'm blanking right now. Josh Berry is close to passing Ty Dillon in points. I mean, it's very close here between Custer, Gregson, Ty Dillon, and Berry. There is a 6-point difference between those 4 drivers.
Crazy.
But yeah, Berry, and with his top 10 finish, is getting him out of the bottom 3. So right now it's Cody Ware and Connor Zilisch is the bottom 2. There's a big gap. It's going to take a lot for those 2 not to finish bottom 2, but those final 4 spots in the final 3 above Zilisch and Ware, that's anybody's ball game.
I got a good one for you. This is a really interesting one. You know how we always talk about, okay, well, the first driver that misses the playoffs, there's always a battle for 17th, because I think it's like $1 million and whatever to the team or something to finish 17th. Who finishes 17th this year? And I'm talking about among everybody, because that includes the Preece, Jones, Keselowski, McDowell, but also guys like Cindric or SVG or Bubba could fall out, and who finishes 17th this year? Who is your prediction on who finishes 17th in the point standings after Homestead?
So I'm going to sound ignorant here. Because I don't know this new format very well. I haven't paid attention.
It's the same as the old format.
But the top 16 can fall out.
I don't believe so. I believe they all go up to 2,000 points, and everybody,
Okay.
17th on back doesn't. So the whole idea is you're
man.
predicting who's going to finish best out of those that don't make the playoffs or the chase. I still have a hard time calling it the chase. You have to predict who's going to finish the best out of those that don't make the chase, but we still don't know who's going to make the chase. So that's what we're predicting.
I think it's going to be Eric Jones. I like the Toyota speed and the intermediates coming up. Right now, I think the short flats really bode well for the Fords, but we're going to get out of those here soon. So when we get back to the Darlington, Kansas, the Vegas, and everything, I think Jones has a better chance at speed.
Completely agree with you. Yep.
But I think, like I've said, I think I've said for the last month or so, maybe longer, I think the top 16 currently in points is going to be the 16 chase. I don't think I can see where Priest could jump Cindric. I can see where Keselowski could potentially jump Cindric. Hell, maybe even Eric Jones. But I think Cindric's going to be in. I don't see SVG falling out.
Yeah.
As much as I want the drama, and I understand Daytona's there, like obviously that can change everything. But if everything goes as I'm picturing it in my head for these last 4 races of the regular season, I don't think we get any movement from out to in.
Would it be crazy if my wild card was Bubba Wallace?
No, not at all. Because, you look at him fall into 14th. I mean, he's 3 points ahead of SVG in points, which is just crazy to think of. And Bubba is the exact same thing as Tyler Reddick, in my opinion, where he goes so up and down. Like he is very prone to that. So if he has a few bad races in a row, which obviously he's good at Daytona, but he's also prone to wreck, especially running up front. No, I don't think that's crazy at all.
He had a bad New Hampshire race last year. He dominated Richmond last year. Yeah, he dominated Richmond last year, but didn't win. Ended up having some kind of issue. I don't remember exactly what. So, like, 3 of the 4 races.
He got spun.
Yeah. So 3 of the 4 races that are finishing up this regular season, last year he finished 28th, 37th, and 26th. If he does that again, he probably misses the playoffs. And then I would say he's guaranteed. If he misses the playoffs, I'd say he's almost guaranteed to finish 17th in points. So I agree with you. I think Eric Jones is the most likely, but I think, and of course,
the wild card is definitely Bubba.
Obviously, Priest, Keselowski, Cindric are the next most likely, but I think Bubba's an interesting wild card.
I mean, you look at so the last 10 races starts before the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. So this is a very good, and I'm just going to go off finishing position here, obviously, but this explains the up and downness of Bubba Wallace in a nutshell. Over those 10 races, 6 of them he's finished 21st or worse.
Yeah.
4 of them he's finished 6th or better.
Yeah.
That's just it's the polarizingness of Bubba Wallace. The speed's there. I don't think he's going to lack in speed. It's just
and to the whole iFantasy Race Ryan stuff again, who I love. Absolutely, everybody should be following him on Twitter or subscribing to iFantasy Race. Period. That is part of the volatility. Is finishing volatility, and that is built into my models. It's not the speed component; it is the consistency component, and there's lots of things that go into consistent components based off the data. But yeah, Bubba Wallace week in and week out has more volatility in my model than other guys like I don't know, maybe like a Chris Buescher or something, who in that same range, right? Of level of car and driver. Chris Buescher's ranges of outcomes are much more narrow than Bubba Wallace's.
And Bubba Wallace is an interesting. So we talk about how advantageous it is to get a good start to the season. He started off the first 5 races. He didn't finish worse than 11th in all 5 of those races. Since then, in the 17 races since then, he's finished 21st or worse 10 times. So 10 of the last 17, he's fallen off
outside of the top 20. Yeah.
And that's just not That's not. You cannot be. Definitely can't be a championship contender with that.
Outside of the top 11. He's either been 11th or better, or 21st or worse.
Right? It's no in between. It's wild seeing his results here.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you go back to, you look at like Darlington this year. He had a really fast car at Darlington, finished 34th because he wrecked. He got caught up in someone else's wreck after a slow pit stop. Like,
yep.
It's not that the speed's not there. It's just, it's the volatility of Bubba Wallace. It's just how I've lost so much money on him this year.
And honestly, I think it's the volatility of 23XI right now. We know they're a JGR affiliate, but I also think there's some not quite as consistency in the cars as JGR has.
And like I said, I'm concerned once these playoffs starts that it's going to become even more inconsistent.
That's a great point.
Because why would JGR share all the information in the
especially playoffs? Denny Hamlin, the owner of 23XI, who's going for his first title. Yeah. Like, he wants that title more than anything because he should have had it last year. He's never had it in his career. It would cement his legacy. I mean, he's clearly the best this season. By the way, can we give a shout out to Daniel Cespedes?
I love his tweets.
Yeah,
he does some great stuff.
So it's _ Daniel Cespedes at Twitter or X, and he came out with a really cool one, and that got a ton of traction on July 29th, so a handful of days ago, right? Because we were in the bye week and all that stuff. He said if you paired up every driver that ran at least 50% of the season, or let's say you take only drivers that ran at least 50% of the season, and you made them face each other head-to-head in every race and just looked at their finishing, then you looked at the driver in that season that won the most of those head-to-head matchups. He did that. Jeff Gordon would be a 7-time champion, basically by beating the field head-to-head more than anybody else. That was a great
analysis.
I think that's a really cool metric. And Denny Hamlin did that last year. And this year, Denny Hamlin has beat every driver more than 50% head-to-head.
Yeah.
Every driver this year, more than 50% head-to-head.
That is an awesome analysis.
I love that. I think that is so good. And I actually think that's a really good reflection of kind of my view of who I view as amazing drivers of all time, right? Jeff Gordon, Darrell Waltrip in his era, Cale Yarborough, Dale Earnhardt, Kevin Harvick, David Pearson, the fucking legend. Yeah. I mean, Pearson didn't even race like as much as he could or should have. The dude would have been the probably the Jeff Gordon of this list if he raced more. Like Jimmy Johnson and Rusty Wallace compared to each other with 3 head-to-head season champions type deal. Not against each other, but I'm saying against their respective fields. I think it's such a better list because Joey Logano's not even on there once.
That's funny.
Joey Logano ain't on there once.
It makes sense. Like we talk about his fluke championships, it makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to score NASCAR seasons. I just thought that was really cool. And if you're not following _ Daniel Cespedes on X Twitter, you absolutely need to be, because he puts out some cool stuff. I hope he gets to do a lot with his NASCAR data visualizations and stuff in the future. Because in terms of employment, because it's so good. And a really nice person to be. So give him a follow.
Yeah, for sure. Great follow there. So I just, while you were talking, I was pulling up Caesar's app, and they have top 3 for the championship.
Wow.
And I think I'm about to make a bet on Ty Gibbs top 3 at plus 260.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Completely agree. What's Bell? Is he like plus 200?
Your bet is being referred to a trader for review.
No.
But Bell is also 260.
Oh, wow. Oh, bet both of those. Then you're probably likely to hit one.
All right. My bet has been placed.
Nice.
Ty Gibbs, plus 260, top 3 to fit in the championship.
I don't see where the top 3 is at Caesars.
So I went to NASCAR and then NASCAR Cup Series Championship, and it has it under races, and then it says top 3. Denny Hamlin is minus 600.
Oh yeah. I was looking at races thinking it was futures, and so I immediately skipped to the okay, cool. I see.
So they have
you already moved Bell to plus 240, I guess.
Sorry, I moved Gibbs to plus 225.
22, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm already banned at Caesars. I was just curious to look at the odds.
But yeah, so currently their odds are Hamlin minus 600 for a top 3, Reddick minus 165, which give me the no. I'll bet the no right now. And then Blaney's plus 125. Everyone else is over 200, plus 200.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's my championship bet for those who were asking before. Ty Gibbs top 3. And I still might hit him 18-1 to win it all, but I like that top 3 a lot. That was the one. As soon as I pulled up those odds, I was like, "Ooh, that looks good." But so the reason, another reason I was looking at those is Carson Hocevar is now 5th in points. Do we think Carson Hocevar can win this championship? And I know the answer is no.
I was about to say yes.
Really? I was going to say no.
Yes. I was about to say yes. No. Darlington, great track. Bristol, great track. Mile and a halves, great tracks, 3 in a row. Homestead, great track. The question marks are Martinsville, Phoenix, Talladega, and Gateway. And he already won Talladega this year. He's horrible. He's horrible at Martinsville, by the way. He's not been good at Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix, he qualified well this year, but yeah, he fell back to 20th.
And Gateway, he finished 15th last year and 8th the year before. I remember he and no, never mind. It wasn't it. It was Austin and Austin, Dylan and Cindric, who got in a pissing match at one of the Gateways. So like Gateway's not a track for him, I wouldn't think. But Phoenix and Martinsville have not been good to him in his Cup career so far. Now let me look at, other series. And again, I'm only browsing finish, which we don't recommend doing, but since that's all we have the time to do for the analysis right here. Phoenix has not been good to him. It doesn't matter what series. And I don't think he's even run at Martinsville in any lower series. So, he ran the Malazzi race, remember? And he wrecked like the whole field in the rain.
Yep.
I mean, I think 8 of the 10 races are good for him.
I think they are good. My problem is Spire is too hit or miss on the intermediates. Like if they hit all 3 or all however many there are, if they hit all of them, yes, I could see it happening. But like, Vegas this year, Hocevar was a top 20 car, and then he goes on to Texas and he leads
Vegas,
40 laps.
What was it, 2 years ago? They were Spire. I'm talking Corey LaJoie, Daniel Suarez, and Michael McDowell are all running really good at Vegas. I know they all did some weird strategies and things like that. Not Michael McDowell. Or sorry, not Daniel Suarez, but I think it was just 2 cars then. It was LaJoie and McDowell, and they both ran really well. And Hocevar too. Yeah, it was a 3-car team, and because I was at the race, I just remember. But like, yes, I think Carson Hocevar can win this championship. Do I think he will? Absolutely not. But do I think he can? Yes.
And and the way he's going to do it is by doing what he's done all season. He has not had an amazing season. His average finish is 14.1. He only has 9 top 10s, 0 DNFs. He's not making crazy bad mistakes. So now it's going to rely on guys like Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Ty Gibbs, all having issues, which is certainly possible. We got 10 races. I mean, they could all, we saw how many years ago it was Darlington and all the Toyotas blew up. Like it's possible. This is possible.
Remember the year like Bristol where like every Toyota blew up or had a mechanical or something?
Yeah. Busher won that race, or Keselowski and Busher were the best cars.
And Truex, God, it was insane. Like
that was the night I almost swore off DFS entirely.
Yeah, I remember.
I was so mad.
Yeah, you're right, Darlington. I think that was the one Jones won, right? Like just the whole shit hit the fan. And I mean, Jones was amazing, but like, I still think like 4 or 5 cars blew up for Toyota. And yeah, certainly anything is possible. Do I think Carson Escobar is going to win? No, I don't. Do I think he can? Honestly, I do. I just think if he eliminates the down stuff, which is easier said than done when everybody in the garage hates you, he has enough talent to just finish 5th to 12th every race, you know, outside of
he has the talent. The biggest question to me, by the way, we're up to 400 current viewers on this stream. That is awesome. Thank you guys for listening. But to me, he has the talent. My question is the mechanical speed, and then the maturity. I don't know if he has the maturity to do it. Like the shit.
No, I totally agree with you. But you know what really helps him with the maturity? The Corey Heim truck shit. He's already been through that.
Yeah.
Where he fucked everything up and Corey Heim fucked everything up and they ruined each other's championship hopes. That helps. That is experience. Even if it's in the truck series, that's something he can't do again.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
But again, I agree. Look at me being the fucking Carson Escobar defender again. What is wrong with me?
What is going on? I just bet on Ty Gibbs to finish top 3.
Skill. I'm not talking about personality or deservedness of wrecking or anything like that. I'm only talking about quality of driver and car.
You can tell that we just had a full moon because I'm betting Ty Gibbs top 3 and you're talking about Carson Escobar winning the championship. Like, this is insane.
It is insane.
Man. All right, let's get to Iowa. How about that?
Yeah, let's get to Iowa.
All right. 3rd race at Iowa in the next gen car. 2024, Ryan Blaney started 2nd, led 201 laps on to victory lane. William Byron, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. were the top 5 in that race. Stenhouse was always good here at Iowa in the lower series. Last year, it was William Byron in victory lane, led 141 laps. Chase Briscoe started on the pole. He led 81 laps. He finished 2nd. Kozlowski and Blaney were top 5, as was Ryan Preece, rallying back from a 33rd place finish. What's interesting, and I know, shout out to Jason again. I talked about him earlier. But I know he got on Bell early at plus 750 to win this weekend. I'll tell you what, I'm seeing Bell to not win at minus 750, and I could be convinced to bet that.
I'm right there with you. I wasn't on the Bell train when I saw that bet.
Iowa is not a good track for Christopher Bell. He's led 7 laps here in 2 years.
I completely agree. And again, we only have a 2 data point sample size. We're talking about laps led or finishes, but I remember even just looking at speed metrics. I don't have it all prepped and ready in front of me, but I'll get it here in just a moment.
You know, he finished 4th here in 2024, but he wasn't the 4th best car.
No. And I mean, I'm looking at things like stages and stuff, but let me pull up actual flags because, you know, that's my bread and butter is true speed track Iowa. Click that. And let me go largest to smallest. And sort by race. Christopher Bell in 2024 was on true speed 6th, which isn't bad. And he finished 4th, like you said. So I'm talking the actual like adjusted speed metric that I use. So not raw speed. He got some nice boosts for tires and track position. Christopher Bell did. He would have been a little bit lower on raw. And then 2025, last year, Christopher Bell was 5th. So again, he got a huge boost last year. So he's been a 6th and a 5th place car. I don't think that warrants plus 750.
No, and of course, this will probably be the week that Bell goes and wins it. But I'm not on the Bell train this week.
Especially after seeing North Wilkesboro, right?
Yeah, I'm not. But what's interesting is
I'm not saying he's gonna be bad. I'm not betting him to win.
Right. Arguably the 2 best and most consistent guys over the last 2 years have been William Byron and Ryan Blaney here at Iowa. You know my mantra when it comes to this next gen car, especially these tracks that we visit once a year. see a lot of the same people coming over. The question will be is if Hendrick can actually find speed. I don't know if they can. But I do think Ryan Blaney is going to be a force this week. And another guy that I think is going to, who I would actually like better. And I haven't looked at other odds. I haven't really looked at the boards at all this week. Give me Chase Briscoe as a potential to win this race.
4th in speed last year, Chase Briscoe.
That team is turning it up here lately.
So obviously the Stuart Haas year is a little confounding. And speaking of confounding, right, you've got a guy like Josh Berry that has had different teams over the 2 years here, but he was 5th and 16th over his 2 races here. The 5th was with Stuart Haas. The 16th was Wood Brothers in speed, right? So that's an average around 10th. We know how down they've been even this year, so tough to say given how bad they've been. But one guy I absolutely cannot bet on for a top 10 or anything like that. The guy we bet on a lot in various things. A guy I like, but also a guy that's kind of dead to us. Zane Smith, dead last in flags in 2024. 31st in 2025. 2 different teams. And Spire's actually been good here, especially last year. But Zane Smith, cannot bet on him this week.
You know, Zane has definitely entered that category for me of just I am outside of like a crazy 12-1 top 10 odds. I'm done with it. I'm Bell. I keep going back to the well because it's Christopher Bell.
Christopher Well.
Smith, Christopher Well. But I just can't get there with Zane.
But also we definitely shouldn't sleep on Brad Keselowski.
No.
8th and 2nd in speed. If you average those, that is 5th. And Bell was 5th and 6th. You average those, it's 5.5. So like, if you're betting Chris Bell at plus 750, I don't know what Keselowski is. Let me pull up his odds. But if you like Bell at 750, you probably can't hate Keselowski at 40-1, 50-1. Is that what I'm seeing? No. I was looking at Busher. Wrong.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you of where Busher's been on speed because he's sitting at 40-1 and 14-1 for a top 3.
Busher has not been good here.
Busher has not been good here.
No, he has been bad here. 24th in speed, and then 20. Where is he? I didn't even see him last year. Maybe he actually was really good. Where is Chris Busher from last year? There it is. 24th and 27th.
You know what's kind of caught my eye?
What has caught your eye?
Ryan Preece is sitting there 75-1 to win and 20-1 to finish top 3.
I was thinking about him. What? Because I was actually looking at Iowa earlier. I was and looking at Ryan Preece specifically. Finished 5th last year, but he was 23rd in speed.
Yeah, I think he got lucky with a caution, if I remember right.
But the funny thing is, the year before, he finished 27th. And 25th in speed. So, and that was again Stuart Haas racing car. So I don't think I can get on Ryan Preece there.
I'm just shocked that he's below Busher, or longer than Busher. Like, give me a head-to-head of those two.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look for any other surprising names. Hosfar was 7th last year in speed.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Dillon was 8th.
Austin Dillon's a sneaky one this week.
Yeah.
And then as we're heading into Richmond too, I mean, we talk about Summer Logano. This is the couple weeks of Austin Dillon.
Yeah. We talk about this being a Ricky Stenhouse track. He was second worst in speed last year. Second worst. That's bad.
Cindric was really good here last year.
Yep. He was great here last year. He was
top 3 in both stages. Fell back to 12th. Yeah.
6th in speed. So it was probably like really good, like 3rd first half of the race and 12th second half of the race or something, and averages 6th,
Mm-hmm.
Justin Haley was really good here. Both years. And I know that's stupid, but he was in a Rick Ware car and was 15th in speed in 2024. And then last year, 12th in speed in a Spire car. Can we just stick Justin Haley in like the Trackhouse 90 Project 91?
That'd be cool.
By the way, did you see that Jimmy Johnson thing?
Yeah, he's going to drive the 48 next year. Yeah, we didn't talk on Alex Bowman. I mean, no surprise. I'm honestly surprised he's driving next year. But Alex Bowman done at the end of 2027. I think that was a mutual deal. Like, hey, we'll give you one more year. But
that was always his plan all along, apparently.
Yeah.
You can believe it or not, but I do believe it.
Like I said, I'm surprised he's not done after this year with the health issues and
But did you see the other Jimmy Johnson thing just today?
No.
I retweeted it. Lowe's messaged Ally Racing and Carvana and said, hey, need an ally for the last ride? Check your DMs. And they were all like tweeting each other. So it sounds like there's going to be a Lowe's, Ally Racing, and Carvana combo for Jimmy Johnson's final race. And Jimmy responded at the end, let me put you guys on group chat. So
see, to me,
how cool would that be? How cool would that be?
When the news broke that he was going to drive the 48, I'm like, that's cool. But like, it's not the same if it's not a Lowe's car. It has to be a Lowe's car.
And it looks like it might be.
I hope it is. I hope.
Well, obviously, it might not be the primary, but it's going to be a combination of the 3, and I think that's so cool because those are the 3 main sponsors he had over the years.
Right. Good question here. Any Bowman love this week? Speaking of the guy.
I don't hate him. 17th last year, 7th the year before. I honestly don't hate it. But we know how bad Hendrick has been in the low downforce, high horsepower package.
It's the biggest wild card. I mean, you look at North Wilkesboro a few weeks ago. Byron was the best finishing Hendrick car in 12th. Like
it was just another data point of how bad they are in this package. And I'm talking road courses, everything under 1.5 miles type stuff. Darlington, which races more like an intermediate, but was in a low downforce, high horsepower. Hendrick has been dog shit in this package all year.
Yeah, and you look at Bowman. He has 2 top 8 finishes here at Iowa, which you know how I am with track history with this car. I still can't trust him for a top 10.
I can't even trust Byron, and Byron's been one of the best cars over the 2 races here.
Yeah.
Add in the Rudy Fugle bullshit. I mean, which means he's probably gonna win, but
right. And there's gonna be a week where Hendrick does find speed. Like it's gonna happen, but like just going off of how everything's gone this year and where they're at right now, it's more likely that they're not going to have speed once again this weekend. I'm looking at, I got Bet365 pulled up right now, and he's +1. Bowman is +150 for a top 10. I'd much rather bet Cindric at +225 or Austin Dillon at +300, Ryan Preece at +300, Josh Berry at +300. They're all sitting there out for a top 10 finish. So personally, I'd rather be on them than Bowman this week, especially, before practice and qualifying. I'd rather see what Bowman looks like And really the only way I'm going to trust him is if he looks really solid in practice and also qualifies well.
I'm looking through some data here. Yeah. 12th in 2024 in speed, Daniel Suarez. Last year, knowing he was the lame duck, 25th in speed. But remember, Carson Hocevar and Justin Haley were top 12 in speed as a Spire car last year. Adding the decline of HMS in this package, Daniel Suarez top 10 upside is there.
Plus 450? Why'd you have to say that?
Like, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Just finished 9th at North Wilkesboro.
Finished 9th at Iowa 2 years ago.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was good at Iowa in that track house car 2 years ago. And then last year was the lame duck year. I mean, I don't know.
Man.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm not betting it, but I would not argue with anyone that wants to bet it right now.
Plus, if you want one other little extra factor towards this, oh no, I was thinking of Gateway. Never mind. I was gonna say the JGR setup. I'm sure they're not bad here though, right? Like, well, I guess they are kind of bad here. That's crazy. JGR, first year of Iowa, JGR had the best car of 6th in speed. And then the next best car was actually 2024. It was Bell in 6th, and then Reddick 2311, 14th in speed. JGR was awful here the first year. Last year, 4th Briscoe, 5th Bell, 9th Bubba, 10th Gibbs. Yeah, they just haven't been as amazing here as at other tracks. 2311/JGR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, outside of Briscoe had a really good car last year.
Yep. No, like I said, 4th in speed, and Bell was 5th. But like, not like the dominant shit we see normally from JGR.
Right. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, I have a feeling about Briscoe this week, and
oh yeah, I totally agree with you.
I normally don't bet outrights early, but if he opens, he's 10-1, best I can see. If he opens somewhere at 12, I'm gonna bet it. And I realize I just jinxed myself by saying that, but oh man, Logano at 11-1 seems interesting.
I agree, but this hasn't been a great track.
Yeah, Iowa hasn't been great. That's true. But Blaney's been so good here. Like, that's the tough
I know. It's so confounding with that. But like, I would make Blaney the favorite easily, and Denny's the favorite right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Blaney should be the favorite this week.
Blaney was first in speed in both races. Like,
yeah,
I might just bet him plus 550 if I get that outside of Caesars, because I'm banned at Caesars for motorsports.
Blaney, so we look at how great Logano and Team Penske were at North Wilkesboro. Add that to how great Blaney specifically has been in Iowa. Blaney should be the favorite this weekend.
100%. It's not close.
And I think some of that with Hamlin being the favorite is just because it's Hamlin, and
I agree.
And I might end up on Blaney early week. See what you're doing to me?
I can't bet Bell at plus 750 when Blaney's been so much better and he's plus 550.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not hating on betting Bell at plus 750. Obviously, Bell's been on fire in terms of speed. This should theoretically be a good track for him. I just prefer Blaney.
Yeah, I think this is going to be Blaney's week to have a great race. Obviously we're still waiting for DraftKings and FanDuel odds to drop, but don't mind betting Blaney at plus 550 right now at all.
Definitely don't mind it.
All right, you want to talk about anybody else?
I've just been trying to look at like where the speed might be hidden. We've talked about Spire, we've talked about Austin Dillon, we've talked about Austin Cindric, Justin Haley. God, somebody throw Justin Haley in a fucking car this weekend. He's so good here. What the fuck?
I will note this, and this is a guy that we just talked about. Ty Gibbs has not been good at Iowa. I think this will be a very good litmus test on if that, like, I'm not going to say that this race is going to determine if he's a championship contender, but if they come here with speed and he's a top 5 car after the shit that he's had the last 2 years at this track, that is a very good sign in the right direction for Ty Gibbs.
I'll say this: 18th 2 years ago, 10th last year in flags, speed, adjusted flags. So the good, so he's improvement 18th to 10th, but that's still an average of 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets harder and harder to improve, right? Like going from 18th to 10th is a lot easier than going from 10th to 2nd, because those are 8 positions different, just like 18th to 10th is. A lot easier to go from 18th to 10th than it is to go from 10th to 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Absolutely.
on speed, but also probably a little easier if HMS is dog shit in this package.
Yeah.
And Denny's not been great here.
No.
Like, they just don't have it figured out, and that's the thing. Like, he's the favorite. I don't understand how he's the favorite over Ryan Blaney.
Man, yeah, we get some head-to-heads with Blaney plus money against Hamlin.
Versus Denny,
I
think you have to take Blaney. I haven't run my model yet, but I think you have to take Blaney.
The only thing that could hurt Blaney this week is I think he's going to be in group 1 for practice and qualifying. So that could hurt him.
By the way, starting at New Hampshire.
Yep.
We're going back to single group.
Love that. I love that.
I think it's really good if I can figure out all the tire change stuff, because the group stuff actually was a massive advantage for me with flags.
Yep. Yeah, I know that.
So I actually don't love it from a selfish perspective. The problem is there's no tire data, right? So like you can't be sure when somebody changed tires. And a lot of times what we see is at a track like Indy, for example, you come in, you cool off the tires, you go out for an out lap, even on used tires, and your first 1 or 2 laps is almost as good as like a fresh tire lap, even though they're on old tires. So it's really weird. It makes it much harder to delineate tire changes from raw data. So it means I'm gonna have to be like fuck ass paying attention to everything I can in practice more, which is gonna be really annoying if NFL season rolls around, because I won't be able to. So that's actually a bad thing as far as practice flags goes. Like at least with the races, we know when they pit, we know when they change tires. We don't have that with practice data. That just, which is
kind of surprising, because they definitely have the technology to kind of track that.
Shouldn't they just, if they just track that, that'd be better.
Yeah.
And
that's asking way too much.
I do account for tire changes in practice. I just have to do it based off a best educated guess from some of them. Some of it's easy to tell, but like there's some ambiguous cases, like I said, where a guy will make 4 stops and they have 2 sets of tires or 3 sets of tires. You kind of have to guesstimate where they came out with the new tires, unless you could find the information on Twitter, which I'll often search and do. But there's absolutely cases where I have no way of knowing, was it the first pit stop or the second pit stop or the third pit stop during practice where they changed their tires. You know, like it's sometimes with lower wear tracks, it's almost impossible to figure out.
Educated guess when it makes sense. And
yeah. So there it is. But I don't like that. I'm sorry. I know you like it. I don't like it.
I like it.
I love
we can disagree on some stuff.
20 minutes is plenty. That's all you need. 20 minutes is all you need to make sure your car
I
doesn't
also
have massive issues.
I also like the full 50-minute. Like I like that aspect of it as well. So there's a lot that I like about this.
I like the fact that you have to adjust throughout the race. Not that like everybody's gonna be fine-tuned before the race even starts.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I just don't like the no practice. You know, there's certain tracks, even a super speedway, give them a 10-minute shakedown so they can see if like that. Remember that one year Larson had like something stuck in his filter or whatever it was. I don't remember. Or they forgot to take a thing off the filter and he was out of the race in the first lap because they don't get to shake the car down.
Yeah.
Like that's what I don't like.
Yeah, I agree. All right. We're going to get to our picks and 36 for 36 here. Neither of us had great weeks in 36 for 36. Obviously, you with another rough week. You're in a cold streak. Maybe
I would pick Bubba Wallace 100 times out of 100 there.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy how much you're jinxing these guys in 36 for 36. But I had Byron who got me 22 points. You had Bubba who got you 9. I now have 663 on the season. You have 525. My turn to go first. I've been weighing several guys here, but looking at the upcoming races, and not trusting him on intermediates, I'm gonna go with a guy that I might bet outright here this week. I'm going Ryan Blaney.
I was about to go with him. Motherfucker. I assume I still have them available, right?
You do. I will say my second pick was going to be Chase Briscoe. I was originally sold on Chase
I don't
Briscoe.
have Briscoe available.
Nope.
I'm fucked. I don't like anyone this weekend outside of Blaney. And this is my chance to gain on you.
I know, right?
Have I used Alex Bowman?
Neither of us have.
Right after I dog shit Hendrick Motorsports here, and have I used Justin Haley?
How about that? how about this, Nick? I'll throw you a bone here. You can have Blaney. I'll go Briscoe. I'm good with that.
I don't want to screw you over, but I like that.
All right, we'll do that. I'll go Briscoe, you go Blaney.
I honestly think I might have just gone Alex Bowman if I didn't.
Yeah, I Briscoe was my first pick, so I'm going to stick to my gut.
Yeah, no, I was going to go Blaney, but obviously,
and I want to see the chaos if you do jinx Blaney, because obviously Blaney's going to be a good pick this week.
Yeah,
DFS wise. So
yeah,
all right. Here's your chance to gain some points on me, because we could see Blaney absolutely dominate this race. So you got Ryan Blaney. I got Chase Briscoe in 36 for 36 at Iowa this weekend. See if you can close the 20, 30, 138 point gap. Picks to win. You had Hamlin at Indianapolis. I had Blaney, which did that to jinx Blaney, so Gilly would win the in-season championship. So anybody that has winning Gilly tickets, you're welcome for me jinxing you, because man, I am not good at picking winners lately. Over the last now 6 races, my picks to win have finished 19th or worse 5 times, including Blaney's 26th last weekend. You had Hamlin though; he finished 5th. Who? It's my turn to go first. Should I do it? Should we double jinx?
Ryan Blaney.
I'm going Ryan Blaney to win this race. We're double jinxing Ryan Blaney.
I'm going Ryan Blaney.
There we go. We are all over Ryan Blaney this week. Ryan Blaney. There we go. That's a wrap. Welcome back. Do you have a good off week? Nice refresh, reset. As we got the last 14 races, including you having NFL coming up.
It's a tough time with the dog. My dog had surgery on Wednesday, so yeah. And then trying to prep for NFL and all that stuff. So I'm just.
Did the surgery go well? Is the question.
Well, it's on Wednesday, so it will be.
I thought you said he had it Wednesday. Sorry, I've been so detached from. I haven't even logged into Twitter. Like,
yeah. I didn't post it on Twitter or anything either. Just
okay.
He had his MRI a week ago. This week is like, okay, get him back to the primary vet, and then, or I should say he had his MRI 2 weeks ago, and these things take time. You get your MRI, you have to get it sent from the MRI person to the specialist to the primary then has to figure out what to do. So it's been a couple week process, but he has a surgery on Wednesday. It's an incredibly aggressive cancer. So, obviously the expectation, especially with a 15 and a quarter-year-old dog is probably less than a year and the normal range is 12 to 18 months for this cancer, but we'll see. You never know. But so Wednesday is the big surgery. And we'll see how that goes. Obviously it's definitely going to buy some time. It's just how much, but the crazy thing is he wants to do everything. He's still fucking healthy. Otherwise, outside this one tumor, that's it's compromising his ability to walk. It's certainly I can tell it's causing him, I wouldn't say massive pain, because when he's in pain, he'll whimper, he'll go, woo, or whimper or whatever. Instead, what he's doing is he's panting a lot. So you can tell it's still causing him some pain, but not massive amounts of pain. But he wants to be active. He wants to eat, right? And for me, if your dog wants to eat, if your cat wants to eat, if they're hungry as shit, you got to let him keep going. So I got to do what I can for him. So the surgery's Wednesday. Hopefully it goes well. But just making the best of what we have left. I mean, 15 plus years is insane. Yeah. For a dog. So very, very, just proud. I'm not even it sucks. It's not good, but I'm not sad. I'm very proud of all that's going on with him, because he has been, Link is for you. I'm sure, he's been the joy of my life. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd say it's normal to be sad, but also you need to be thankful that you did have, or still have.
And thankful we still get to give him more opportunity. Yeah.
Exactly. So
I know it's not the way we want to end the podcast, but question was posed. So
yeah.
Well, thank you all. Thank you. No, I'll, it's just, if I'm not fully NASCAR brained right now, probably now through the end of the season, honestly, because NFL coming up, it is what it is. I can't do everything. I'm not a magician. I can't do everything, but got to take care of my dog first and foremost, and also have to do my job first and foremost, which in a month will be NFL first and then NASCAR second. So but that's where we are. But I mean, I'm fucking stoked for NASCAR and IndyCar, right? IndyCar is about to come back and have 6 races in 5 weeks to end the season. So a
lot of exciting stuff going on.
It's just, obviously it's not going to be my first attention for work or for analysis or whatever, but it's still Racing's still number one in my heart. That's never going to change. I will always be much more attuned to what's going on in NASCAR and IndyCar than NFL. It doesn't mean I won't be attuned to what happens in NFL. Obviously, every year I am. But like, force me to pick one, and it's easy. I will pick motorsports over NFL in terms of what I will pay attention to first. But I pay attention to them all. It's my job, and I obviously love NFL too. But you guys aren't gonna suffer anything on Stacking Dennys or running hot, even though I might not be paying just quite as much attention because we'll find the good shit out there.
Absolutely. All right. Good luck, everybody, this weekend at Iowa. Go Ryan Blaney.
Yes.
Hopefully we get a good race, and then we'll be back next week to talk Saturday night at Richmond.
I'm excited for that one.
I am.
Austin Dillon.
See you guys. Yep, absolutely. I mean, we can already mark.
We can already pencil in both our 36 for 36 on that.
I'm gonna do it right now. We're both going Austin Dillon.
I'm not gaining any points on you on that one.
had that one marked since the season started.
Exactly.
All right. Good luck this weekend, guys.
Good luck, y'all.
See ya.